final word, right? Like, I don't know how much time I got left on God's green earth. I want to really say what I feel is important. And sometimes, in order to speak the truth, you have to risk offending people. Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you have to go out and be an asshole. There's a
Right.
difference between saying your truth that may offend and being an asshole. So
Right.
I think what you were saying at the end of last week's episode is don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
More than
that's my whole
I
method to
think
madness, man. That's
I think it's
exactly what I.
more so than like treat people like a snowflake, because like
You can't.
no, you can't. You've never treated me like a snowflake.
No, and
Even
I never would.
even the times where I've been like fucking wallowing in self pity and shit like that,
Yeah,
you've never
I
treated
set you.
me like a
No, definitely not. That's not. That
yeah,
was not. It's not productive to cater to people's
no,
emotional needs. Like what I
no,
understand is like we have to develop ways that we can interact with each other that is
yeah,
respectful yet informative. And
yeah,
my problem is that these days being purely factual and informative has become offensive, and I don't know what to do about that. So what do? I
right,
avoid it and just fucking smile and nod, bro. You know,
yeah,
like that. You know, I'm not sitting here. I probably got 30 or 40 years left. Like you're in a whole different situation than me. That's why I wanted
yeah,
to do this situation because I want the truth. I want your truth. I want you to be remembered for who you actually were and
yeah,
not someone who you acted like. And I'm sick of acting like a fucking. You know what, man? I spent so many years on social media
yeah,
trying to be this performer, this character. And what
yeah.
I realize now that I'm having success on my channel, it's all because I'm not doing that anymore.
No, it's
So
authenticity.
authenticity, right? Truth,
Yeah, that's what
truth.
people want, because people can see through acting and bullshit all the time. People can see through it. They don't like it, even if you're quote unquote polite and kind and whatever. Like, it's people aren't into it. They want the authenticity, and with that comes, the ugliness sometimes,
Sacrifice
the
sometimes, you know.
rawness sometimes, for sure. And like, maybe you lose two followers because somebody said, or you said something that two people disagree with, but you really struck a chord with 10 other people,
Yeah,
and now they're
exactly.
big time followers, right? So, like, who knows? It doesn't matter. You have to speak what you feel, what you know to be the truth, because if not, you're just
Faking it.
yeah, right. Jordan Peterson says, um, do your best to say things that you know not to be false, right?
Right.
So, you know,
My problem is I just don't like the I don't like confrontation, and so but
yeah,
it's like I had to kind of have this like humbling note where it's like
yeah,
are my actions really going to change anything on the big scale? Like
right,
what's the point of getting into these confrontations with people if it's not going to do me any good?
yeah. I don't know,
That's the
because I don't
that's the
know if we
balance.
always, I don't know if we always have to have confrontations. I mean,
Right.
sometimes confrontations do happen, but most of the conversations I have are usually respectful, and if they're not usually. Um, it's not a conversation I'll try and pursue again, right? So if I have a conversation with
Yeah,
you,
live
and
and
even
learn, live and learn. Yeah.
right, even if we disagree, we have a good conversation. We talk and we come back. The
Yeah.
next time we can talk about something else, right? And I can do that with a lot of my friends. There's a couple of friends though that I have and maybe won't much longer, and they don't discuss things really in an honest manner. They're trying to,
Right.
instead of trying to have a discussion and learn, they're trying to win. And
Right.
I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying to talk, speak the truth, and learn.
Right.
And I'm willing to listen to anybody. I'm willing to
And I,
listen to people. Like, I'm literally willing to listen to people who I think have said stuff that I would consider racist, let's just say, or homophobic or ableist. And I'll want to sit down with them, and I'll want to know why they think that way, because maybe there's um, a way that I can connect with them to maybe show that their line of thinking doesn't actually have to end up at racist
right. And then
whatever. And
how do you inspire people that are so polarized? Like for one thing, I realize like
yeah,
I'm right in the center. I'm not really right wing or left wing. I'm just kind of
yeah,
floating somewhere in the middle. I think like a lot of my friends are a lot more right of me and a lot more left of me. And
yeah,
I find being in the center that's kind of my motive is listen to everybody and kind of get the best
yeah,
possible thought process in my own mind that I can gather. And I think a lot of
right.
people it's just so polarizing. Like why have people become so polarized? What do you think is the cause of it?
Why have people become polarized? Well, I think because people want to be right.
So
People
it's ego.
so often, yeah, their ego invested in their position, their ego invested in their party, their ego
And their
invested
pride.
in their pride, in their tribe, in whatever. Like they're so, like so, like if I have a personal belief about something, and I've been shown evidence that I'm wrong, you know what? It might be uncomfortable. It might be difficult, but I think eventually, my point of view will change.
Yeah.
Most people, this is proven, most people, if you show them facts to contradict their opinion, they actually become more dug into that
Yeah,
original
it's weird how
opinion.
that works out, eh?
Yeah. And like it's because of media is
Do
so
you think it's like
divisive.
self-preservation, self-protection and like protection from harm? Like, because for example, like I was watching this video the other day, and they were talking about what these famous YouTubers do physically. They move their hands a lot. They have their palms
Right,
open, very inviting. You know,
right,
like and I think that then they were talking about how like 8% of body of language is verbal, right? The
right,
the other like 92% is all body and facial expression, right?
right,
So
right.
I think being conscious of that is the best way to kind of try and bring people together, you know. And maybe I labeled that as being nice, but really I think it's in some way like I think honestly the intelligent people of the world need to be a little manipulative and open minded at the same time. You know what I mean?
No, kind of explain that.
Well, I'm just saying like you have to be aware that not everybody's
Yeah,
going to get the point you're trying to get across, and
right, right,
some people just aren't able to grasp what you're putting down. So
right,
how do you make your information inviting to listen to without being
right.
abrasive? Because I think everybody gets lost in their ego and becomes defensive, right? And like I mentioned,
Yep,
self-preservation earlier, they get defensive out of their own point, and because as like a self-defense mechanism,
right. So you got to use,
they grind deeper into that belief.
yeah. So you got to use techniques that are, that bridge the gap, that are,
Yeah.
disarming, that open the lines of communication, that open
Yeah.
listening, not shut down, not
That's
just a
right.
situation where the next person
Cancel
is,
culture. Cancel
yeah,
culture, man. That's what's happened.
yeah,
Because of this self defense and like you said, burrowing themselves deeper into their idealism. Because
yeah,
of this action, cancel culture has been fabricated on both sides extremely. And that reminds me of like Elon Musk, like the political spectrum. I've been like Elon Musk. I've been right in the center, maybe center left, and I was buddies with the right wingers and left wingers. We were all kind of buddies. I just had meaningful conversations
yeah,
to sort out differences. But then the left went further and further and further and further, and now I'm looked
yeah,
at as center right, even though my whole life I've been like a classic liberal, right?
yeah. Well, Bill Maher said that recently on Joe Rogan. He's like, I
Yeah,
haven't gone to the right. You guys have gone further left.
that's
Like,
exactly what's happening.
like he's like 10 years ago, I was still what I was. I was pro gay marriage and stuff like that. But now I'm not sure I'm on board with men can get pregnant.